back and welcome to my July to be read pile. I am feeling very chaotic in terms of my mood, so I don't know how much of this is going to stick, but it's kind of a list I've cobbled together halfway through June when I'm trying to predict my reading for July, so we'll see how this goes. The first one I can confidently say I plan on starting in July just because I'm doing a buddy read for it, and that is The Black Tongue Thief. I believe this follows obviously a thief, but he steals from the wrong person, and this person ends up being a revered knight, and they end up having to go on a quest together, but they get forced into doing that together. So they're kind of enemies, and I like that dynamic when characters don't like each other and they form this trust. Whether that trust becomes loyalty and unwavering friendship or romance, I don't really mind, as long as it's a natural progression into trusting each other. It just gets me in the feels every time. That's what I'm looking forward to about reading this. I've also heard that it's got gruesome, violent scenes in there, but I'm not usually fussed about that in fantasy. If it's violence and battle, that's fine, but if it's SA, then that's another thing entirely. So hopefully this is a good book, and I'm looking forward to giving it a try because this cover is great, and I would be disappointed if such a fantastic cover was on the outside of a very bad book. And then I wanted to sneak a reread of this book in because I've previously given this romance a 5 stars, and the adaptation is coming out in August, so what better time to reread the book than July, and that is Red, White and Royal Blue. This is a story that follows Alex and Henry. Alex's mum is in the running to become the next president of the United States, and Henry is the son of the royal family in the UK, and both of them are part of obviously very wealthy circles, and they kind of had this hate to love romance that develops over the course of the story as they build this grudging kind of respect for each other. And Alex realizes that he's probably not straight. This is a male rom-com romance, and I'm really excited to read it again. I can't believe I've waited this long. It's been several years, but with the show coming out, it's perfect timing, and I'm really excited for the show. It looks fantastic and amazing, and this just makes me so happy, and I know that I've given it 5 stars before, so given that I'm kind of in a up and down mood, like I don't know what I want to pick up next exactly, I think this is perfect. Reading a book again that I've already loved is just going to set me up for success. I'm also currently reading the Darker Shades of Magic series by Victoria Schwab, and I'm up to A Conjuring of Light. Well, because I'm filming this in June, I'm currently reading A Gathering of Shadows, which is book 2. This is the 3rd and final book in the trilogy, and then V.E. Schwab's releasing a continuation in October. That's why I'm ultimately trying to reread these in time. It's been literal years since I've read these, and I think I've got like a rose-tinted glasses effect happening when I'm looking back at reading these, because as I'm reading them, I'm like, these are great, but also a little bit dramatic. So they were perfect for when I read them, but now I'm not loving them as much. So I'm like, am I super excited like I was before about the continuation, or am I kind of middle of the road? I'm really not sure yet, although after reading The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue and having it be one of my favorite books of all time, I'm like, clearly Victoria Schwab's writing has only grown, so maybe I am excited for it. Then I'm going to hopefully maybe continue my streak of I don't know what I feel like reading. Let's reread a favourite. And I might reread Silver Under Nightfall because I was checking Goodreads for The Court of Wanderers, which is the sequel. And initially the release date was October this year, but everything seems to have been updated and now it's saying April next year. So I am in a massive book hangover still from loving this so much. It's a polyamorous medieval vampire story with basically zombie vampires and royal court nobles trying to figure out where this rot came from because it's affecting their attempts at a peace treaty between them and the humans. And so Remy, our main character, is a human. There are noble court vampires. They go on this quest together to find out where this rot is coming from and why. And those characters obviously form a romance. I'm really looking forward to rereading this because every time I go to describe it, I really struggle just because there's so much happening in here, and I'm really eager to re-experience all of that. I do have the audiobook, but obviously I've got it physically as well, so I'm not really sure whether I'll read the audio or the physical book yet, but we'll see what happens. Then, speaking of audiobooks, I've got The Witch King by Martha Wells, and I think this follows a long-trapped demon who is released by someone and then bonds to them. I don't really know anything about this book except for that very vague, loose premise. And I read the Murderbot Diaries by Martha Wells before I got to like book 3 or 4, I think. And I don't know why, but I found them kind of underwhelming and a bit of a letdown. I think because they were short, and I wanted the pace to be a bit quicker. I wanted things to be built more. So the fact that there is now a full-length fantasy novel by this author that is out in the world, I'm looking forward to trying it, although the audiobook is not very long. So hopefully I can get to that in July and finish it pretty quickly. I don't know what audiobooks I'm going to continue with after I finish it, because I'm obviously going back to my commute into the office, so I'm catching the train a lot. And that means I have a lot of commuting time to kill by listening to audiobooks. So I'm going to start going through them again really quickly. I'm like, what do I listen to? I don't know. Something I don't want to listen to on audiobook though is Robin Hobb, because I've tried many Robin Hobb books on audio and they just do not work for me. So maybe it is time to reread the Farseer trilogy with my physical copies. It's finally time. I did try and do a reread a couple of years ago and I just stagnated because of various things going on in life. I think it was just before the pandemic, but either way, I was just not being able to focus on this series. And this series is a long love of mine, but because I haven't read it in like a decade, all of it that is like the intricacies of the plot, I still remember bits, but I don't remember all of it. So I can now go back and re-experience Robin Hobb. I'm so excited. Obviously, I want to go and reread all of the Elderlings books, but I think I might just leave it to the Farseer trilogy for now, which follows Fitz. And I do have a review of the first book that's spoiler-free and spoilers, but spoiler-free is in the first section of the video. So go and check out my review, because I haven't read it for a while and I filmed that review just after I'd finished reading it. So past me has more of a recollection of what the book is actually conveying to you. Again, this just hits home how much I need to reread these. I was just about to wrap up the video, but I remembered that a book I put in my June TBR doesn't actually release until July, and that is The Shadow Cabinet by Juno Dawson. I thought it released mid-June, and it probably does, but in Australia, the release date is just different and it comes out on the 5th of July. So aside from all of these, I guess I'm also going to attempt to read The Shadow Cabinet by Juno Dawson in the same month, which is probably like a 400 to 500 page book. So just add this to the top. But that is all that I plan to read. Wish me luck. Let me know if you've got an ambitious TBR as well, because for some reason my reading momentum has come back and I'm really excited about it. So if I can get through all of these, that would be amazing. But thank you so much for watching this video. I'll come chat to you down below in the comments and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.